Wings, they will respond to what Fnatic go to. So if you're in their position, I think perhaps the scariest is going to be just keep banning out the Earth Spirit. You haven't had a chance to verse it, but we'll find out now.
Yep, the Enchantress does go through, and Fnatic, no hesitation there, picking that up for their own team. The other band, Invoker, coming back into the band. Saw a lot of Invoker play yesterday.
I could definitely see an Earth Spirit come out for Wings here. It's actually one of their highest win rates on them. I think they're very capable on it. It will also help offset the fact that Enchantress will be pressuring other lanes. Earth Spirit can give as much advantage in a lot of cases towards roaming, as long as he isn't in the same lane as the Enchant. If you hit like mid lane while Enchantress has creeps bottom or something like that, it can potentially net you a kill. And even in the mid game, it's a lot of nuke damage that can help offset Enchantress's tankiness. That's very bold, because and normally in a Chen Enchantress fight, Enchantress beats him out because you can steal creeps more readily than Chen can.
But there has been a continual trend in China that some teams are willing to pick up the Chen into Enchantress. We've seen like I keep going back to Ice in the way that they'll always pick up an Ice Chen into all these Enchantresses, and it surprised me. I kept going like every single time. I'm like, why are they doing this? But it does really feel like the Chen, there are some really big strengths where you're able to throw so many creeps at one. When you go for that push, right, it just happens all at once. The Enchantress is not capable of dealing with that. Even if it comes to stealing an individual creep, she's not going to be able to stop these pushes from going through. So I like this opening from Wings. The Chen, Nature's Prophet, I personally would have preferred the Beastmaster just because I want to keep that out of hands of Fnatic. Beastmaster, Enchantress, one of the strongest dual lanes out there you can counter.
Benefit of the Nature's Prophet is it's like that active tempo controller early on where you can TP around, because Chen isn't going to be able to gank as much. To me, like, I think it's a key point you talk about, where Chen, when you go for the push, you go all out. You have 3-4 creeps there. Enchantress can maybe steal one, you could steal it right back, but on top of that, Chen has the mech and the Hand of God. So dealing with a push as Enchantress just isn't all that feasible. So Chen can play passively the early game, but a hero like Nature's Prophet can step in, find those kill opportunities, help rotate around, and like alleviate some of the pressure from Fnatic.
So we can already see the timing of these two teams, right? Is that Wings is going to be like very much 10 to 20 minutes where they're going to be trying to take as many objectives, right, maybe securing themselves even an early Roshan if the opening is presentable, while Fnatic are going to be, at least with this opening one too, is going to be much more like 30 minutes where you get the Beastmaster with the Necronomicon, you start getting Enchantress, some big amount of damage. But Fnatic's other timing is also going to be in the first like 10 minutes with the Enchantress. That's the really disruptive factor, and this is why 4 positions, good disruptive 4 positions are like one of the most valuable things in this patch, right? Because we talked about it early on. You can't just ban away. It's not like the first 2 bans going to be able to deal with it. You've got Chen, Enchantress, Bounty Hunter, Earth Spirit. There's so many heroes in the first phase that you can pick that are still able to have the same sort of impact.
All right.
That was made even worse by the fact that Fnatic banned an IO. So they didn't even take one of those 4 heroes out. They just left so many in the pool.
And that was one of the things that Wings was really good, right? At being able to deal with disruptive playstyles, that they were able to get themselves like really strong dual lanes.
Yeah.
And in that factor, the Wisp was really beneficial to them.
Yeah. Less roaming, more dual laney, just strong lanes that are good at pressuring everywhere at once. Then that's 3 semi-dangerous lanes. If your opponents do a tri-lane, then yeah, maybe they'll win that one lane. But your dual lanes can really limit the amount of farm that your carry normally gets, and it's going to throw your whole game off.
Going to the second phase, we did see Puck and Gyrocopter being banned out by Wings. Then the Dro coming out as a ban this time from Fnatic. We saw some play yesterday from the hero, and then Witch Doctor being banned out once again.
And Cap talked about the 10 to 20 minute timing. Having a Dro Ranger in the mix means really fast pushing, easy access to Roshan, and you can just snowball out of control, assuming your early game lanes go well enough.
We call it a lineup that's just easy to execute.
Right.
You know, it's not a whole lot of complication to it. You can play the lineup relatively easy.
Well, Lion picked up as one of the best answers to an Enchantress, and also just a stable support to have in any game, but when you're against Enchantress, it has even more value to pick up.
And you lack disables as well, so like disables plus burst damage, it's everything you want, and it just so happens to be one of the supports that can deal with Spectre jumping on him. Yep. If you're fast enough, you can even kill that illusion before Spectre jumps you.
Yep, a little bit of a scary game for Nature's Prophet here on the way out. Beastmaster, very good at finding him. Spectre, also pretty good at finding Nature's Prophet.
And Spectre, pretty good in Fnatic's hands. I think they're currently 13-0 now after a win earlier in the tournament on this current patch. They are unbeaten with Spectre, and I think it's a hero that suits Net incredibly well as a support player transitioning over the carry role. He can just get involved so easily. I mean, not to like criticize Net too much as a player, but it is a kind of easy to execute carry. You can play around your captain, your shot call. They're saying, look, you've got Haunt coming up, let's smoke up like 20-30 seconds before. You've got Haunt, engage, Spectre haunts in, cleans up. and it just suits Fnatic's playstyle really well.
Yeah, I really like the trend of supports going to carries, because supports are very gank-minded, I feel like, at all stages of the game. They know how to set up kills, they know where to look on the map. Carries usually more focused on farming, but when you put a support on a hero like Spectre, you're constantly looking for those kills. Every time Haunt is up, you're looking at the map, looking for those opportunities, and I really feel that suits their playstyle really well.
Okay, yeah, a bit of a murmur in the arena too when we saw that Spectre being picked up. Of course, we had a splash yesterday in a separate game coming out from Empire. So now, ball back in the court for Wings. What are we looking at here to round out their lineup so far? I mean, is there anything glaring that you think they need to pick up?
Well, they need a carry that can deal with Spectre. That's usually the important thing. Sometimes there's a lot of carries that don't always match that very well. You'll need somebody that has a lot of single target damage. If you pick something like a Gyro, it can work if there's not a lot of stuff there, but once the Manta comes out, it's a lot harder for a hero like Gyro to deal Spectre. So Wind Ranger is a good solution. You can focus fire with a damage item, and you can actually kill the Spectre.
Lots of things to shackle off with, like the Beastmaster Boar, the Enchantress creeps too. The carry that always comes to mind to me against Spectre is Juggernaut. That to me is perhaps the best like carry versus carry matchup that you can have against Spectre, but they're not picking up fourth, still an option for them as that fifth pick.
Sometimes it's hard to be able to nail down the right hero, but I think the overall idea is what we're going for is high tempo heroes and also high ground heroes. Those are like if you want to look at the Venn diagram, sort of deal, this is what they kind of need to be able to fill out, because Fnatic have a rather dangerous mid to late game. But this Pugna does shore up some early problems for Fnatic that maybe at that 20-minute marker they start getting pushed down, but now they have what is a pretty solid tower defending hero and can also put pressure early on as well.
I really like this pick here. I mean, Decrepify, it doesn't work very well versus Lion, but against Prophet, Wind Ranger, and Chen, they can really mitigate a lot of that damage coming out, not to mention the high casting cost that everybody on the Wings lineup has right now. So the Netherward's going to be really effective in this game.
And you kind of talked about, or captivated about how the first timing Fnatic is that first 5-10 minutes of the game with the Enchantress rotations. Well, Pugna's a hero that can actually take very fast tier 1 towers with the Nether Blast. So second time we've seen Fnatic pick up the Pugna in this tournament, and it's already won them one game. So looking forward to see it again.
It's making me think you almost need a carry that is able to output some magic damage, or that is able to have almost a Diffusal Blade style hero. And it is a magic damage carry.
Okay. Rounding out the roster for Wings.
Rough against the Pugna Ward having a Necrophos.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So you'll take like 185 damage times 1.5 every time you press Death Pulse.
You want to throw a Veil in there somewhere?
I mean, Pugna definitely will throw it into his build, that's for sure.
I mean, I think both sides will, right? It's also going to be the danger of like, oh, I'm going to save this person from being Focus Fire, Decrepify, and then Necrophos walks in, he's like, what up?
On the bright side, they can always teleport Nature's Prophet in. They find where the Netherward is while the fight starts, TP's in, summons Treants, hits it 2-3 times, it will die. So they have some decent way to break up the Netherward, but depending, Fnatic could put it a really good place. Fast Aether Lens, you can put it on cliffs, things like that. It can definitely be a big problem. For Fnatic's last pick, I think they really need some kind of a nuke damage, because right now the Decrep from Pugna doesn't really synergize with anything. They don't have to do this, maybe better to focus on having an overall good team dynamic, but right now that skill doesn't really help much more other than defensive.
Yeah, it's just the port to go with the Spectre. You could even go for like a Dazzle. Yeah, it's not that nuke damage, but it's a way of dealing with the Reaper from the Necrophos. You can save whoever's getting Reapered.
Might not be terrible, because you can always life drain afterwards, potentially.
Yeah. If Fnatic lose game 1, I'm like almost completely certain that the Pugna is going to be the weak point in their draft.
Okay.
Yes. I think the fourth pick Pugna was unnecessary. They could have just picked up their support and made their lineup look and feel rather normal for this patch. And the Pugna has some very obvious weaknesses to exploit.
Unless it's a support Pugna.
Super ass against
exactly. That's the thing, right? It could be a support or a mid Pugna. But I think either way, even the support Pugna has, like, it's just bad to be able to, like, help out the Spectre early on. You could almost see, like, Wings at that point in time run sort of aggro. If it is a support Pugna, put pressure on the Spectre because you can't help her out. And if it's a mid Pugna, you're going to be feeling a lot of pressure in that mid lane from the Furion and Shen.
I like the Venge last pick. It'll help offset the Pugna that usually dies pretty fast, so it'll blend really well.
Okay, all right, well, we've seen it. You guys have commented kind of on what you like specifically on both sides, but any roster standing out as a better favorite here between these two in the very first game?
I like the Fnatic one personally. I mean, the Pugna's a little bit weird, but the other 4 heroes I have are super standard. I like the Wings lineup as well, but it's definitely weirder. Fitting the Necro in, it's definitely a more rare hero.
I think Fnatic with Spectre is just like their bread and butter. That's what they needed in game 1.
All right, Cap, what about you? Final thoughts before we jump right in.
It's hard to say no to Fnatic Spectre, but Wings picked up that Necrophos last pick. They picked it into the Pugna. I think they have a plan here. I think they have a very clear strategy. I just not entirely sure what it is, but I'm going to have faith in Wings.
All right, well, Wings versus Fnatic. Who takes the lead to try to secure a spot in the finals here at ESL One Manila 2016? As we jump into the game, we're going to go over to our commentators as we load in to the very first one.
Thank you very much, Chober, and indeed we're ready with the first game of the first series here, the final day of ESL Manila. Fnatic versus Wings. I'm OD Pixel. I'm going to be joined by Mount and Mr. Ben Malini Wu for this game. And guys, what's some picks we've got? Again, Wings turning up with something a little bit different. Yesterday, they carry Veno coming through. Today, carry Necrophos.
That is even sweeter than the Venomancer. I normally don't say that because Venomancer is a great hero, right? But Necrophos, like I just told Ben when the draft was going on, is one of the coolest heroes to have into the late game, strictly because he's the only one who has the ability to counteract buyback through Aghanim Scepter. So really a interesting pickup. I'm happy to see the versatility in the picks this tournament.
But at the same time, we're theory crafting last pick. It's like, oh, what's good versus Necrophos aside from everything?
I mean, the final pick from Fnatic being that Vengeful Spirit. Do you like that, Ben? Can you see why they would have opted for that,
yeah.
You know, considering the Necro pick?
I think if they didn't have the Beastmaster, they could have opted for something similar in like a Bat Rider. I think he's really good versus Necrophos because Necrophos out of position is just a dead Necrophos, regardless of whether or not you have, you know, mech, Atos, those sort of items that you want to build to make him nice and tanky.
Going to see a little bit of a kerfuffle around the top rune spot. Wings trying to come in close, but Ben looks like he's going to be get the positioning and will get stunned up. Innocence gets in and he does manage to grab himself the barrier, but he's getting bursted low. Innocence gives up first blood. Fnatic DJ picking it up for the team, and now Windranger, he's got to run. He's got the fair fight. Good job he had that. He would have gone down otherwise, and he will be able to win run away. DJ continues to try and chase, but he's going to get held back at the same time. IO chasing down Shadow. He's going fairly deep. DJ still giving it some here onto Ice. Chen versus Enchantress. Necrophos will save up, and DJ just forcing Ice right back here. And what a start there for Fnatic. Wings, they're able to secure themselves the bounty room, but in return, DJ picking up first blood on the edge. But Strong all stopped here in the mid lane with the magic missile into the blast on Innocence. He himself getting forced right back, and it's all go, go, go at the moment. And as the lanes settle, we'll indeed be seeing this matchup in the mid lane. Pugna versus the Windranger. We'll see how much help both of them receive from their teammates. But in terms of lanes, Ben, is there anyone that you're favouring here? Who's come out on top in the early game in terms of draft?
I think that Wings are already kind of under the gun to deal with the pressure from DJ. It was funny when Purge was talking about it. It's like, oh man, Chrissy was wrecking us in KDL. I remember asking Blitz about it. I was like, oh man, this Chrissy guy, he's really good. And then Blitz is like, no, he just spammed Bat Rider to 7k. I'm like, how ironic.
Oh, look at this. I mean, straight away, Wings smoking up to the bottom, leading in with the line. 3-4-3, getting bursted low, and they'll find it. Wings pick them up a kill onto the board. Very early smoke, nice one. But meanwhile, top lane. One of the weaknesses here, the Necro leaves that man alone, and he is incredibly susceptible to getting ganked to the early levels, man.
Yeah, it's especially hard when you're running into a double creep Enchantress, even better than a Chen in the early game. I really like the aggression coming out from Wings with the early smoke, though. Normally you'll see Chen typically occupy his own jungle for up until level 3. There's very few who goes for that level 1 smoke gank. Necrophos is already in danger again, though.
Oh, this is not a great situation for Shadow to be in. DJ chasing him down here, forcing the Necro back. In comes the Lion, will lead him with a stun. Baby's going to keep in as well. DJ fairly low at the depot. He's chasing him around here with the right click, so he will go down here. They'll lose one for Fnatic, but Ohio trying to find Shadow in return. Can he get the kill on the Necro? Pops the fair final, get it. The final touch, but he does pay with his life. So on this top lane, Fnatic this time getting punished. I mean, they are killing this Necro, but they're losing heroes in return. Is it worth it, Ben?
Definitely. Look at Necrophos' items. He doesn't even have boots, and we're talking about a phase boost on Enchantress. She's level 2.
I mean, the thing is, this is the very early game, so with this current patch and meta, it doesn't really matter too much that you die this often. We've even seen, like, a year and a half ago, how Sumail played it, right? He could have 3-4 deaths early on and still come back. Necrophos doesn't really possess the same ability as Storm Spirit or Zeus to do that kind of burst damage where you just get a lot of kills. But even then, you know, it's not that big of a deal that he dies right now because he didn't have any income anyways, and he'll be back to the lane and can start farming up again. And the aggression is probably gonna die down a bit now.
He doesn't have any levels though. He's not even level 3. I think that's the biggest issue. He's like a level 1.5 behind the Beastmaster.
But Lion is there to help him support and do the pulls, so he will catch up eventually. I mean, it's not ideal by any stretch, but
He's already underhanded in the matchup though versus Pugna, because he needs a lot of items to counteract the Pugna ward.
Oh yeah, but they're playing two different positions. So Pugna was gonna outlevel him regardless.
I mean, in terms of items for the Necro, you know, you mentioned obviously Standard sometimes getting the mech, but he's got a Chen on his lineup. I mean, what do you expect to see Shadow kind of build early on this game? Is he going to look for the positioning items like the Blink? I mean, how soon are we going to see the Ags come out in his progression?
I think he needs to play the tank type of hero in this matchup. When you look at their lineup, Chen is already counteracted pretty well through the Enchantress and the Pugna.
Oh, DJ coming in with the creeps, and it's going to be another one for Fnatic. DJ just putting in the pressure on this top lane with the help of Ohio, and now with the ball slow, they might even try and look for another one. There's the Shadow blast from DJ. It's on point. Shadow being forced back behind the tier 1, and Fnatic with a double kill on Ohio. Thanks keeping it, but now DJ turns around, heals up the Shadow blast, bringing it down, and they'll get another for Fnatic. DJ on this Enchantress creating so many issues for the side of Wings. 3-1-3 at the moment on the Edge, involved in all 6 kills, 4 minutes in.
Shadow just not respecting the damage output coming up from 2 Satyrs with those shockwaves, and then of course the Quill Beast that's gonna slow him down sufficiently. And DJ went face boots on the Enchantress. His damage output right now is ridiculous.
I mean, they have to do something about it though. You can't just sack this tower and sack the Necrophos. Necrophos is not a hero that you can sack in this lineup at all.
No, like they definitely need to react, but the thing is, Shadow just stood in the lane. Like, he sees Lion die and he still remains in the creep wave rather than running back to the tower and respecting the damage output.
I think he just really wants his farm though. He's like, you know, when you're in this sort of situation, you're like, man, I just need some sort of level, some sort of gold.
It's just a typical carry position to take then.
I know. I feel for him.
My death is okay, I was trying to get last hits. That's not how it works. You learn more not dying.
At least he's starting to get a few level shadows now, level 4, but at the same time, that's the same as DJ. DJ at the moment getting so much from finding these kills. 5 minutes in as well, the mid-tier 1. Pugna's been putting on a lot of pressure. We're going to almost certainly see that fall very shortly after a few more pushes. In terms of the CS though, Rim Ranger, Blink still finding a decent amount of farm against the spam of the blast from mid 1.
And despite Bjarn's death, he's actually doing really, really well, and the Nature's Prophet didn't have much contest on the bottom lane, and he got a kill on the top lane, so he's 5.5.
This is a nice wraparound for Wings. Ohio, he doesn't have DJ around to help him out this time, and leading him with the net. Wings, fantastic rotation, punishing the Beastmasters. Depth there in the lane, and they will find it. Faith behind coming in as well to join in a bit of that action. So Wings trying to recover this top lane here to make life a little bit easier for the Necro.
And they do have yeah, they're gonna go for the tower push. There's 20 seconds before the Beastmaster's back, and they have a Basilisk.
There's 3 heroes wrapping around the mid lane trying to pressure this Wind Ranger.
And he's got a DD ring. He's just going to try and go for this. There will be a horn. Power shot actually connects. Staying 3-4-3. He gets the magic missile out, but he's going to get taken down. And now, Roshan is a Fnatic fan. Oh, that Oh, right. Looks like Roche put some money on Fnatic before this game. That was alright.
That's actually disastrous for Wings, because they lose the middle tower as well. That death on Wind Ranger in itself isn't that important. It's of course unfortunate, but the fact that they give up the mid tower uncontested really ruins the progression of the map movement moving forward in this game. Oh, what a disaster for them.
Really, really unfortunate. I mean, at least he gets a kill on the way down there. Blink on the Wind Ranger, taking down the Venge, but as you said, a trade that Fnatic, they're still going to be happy with. Phase Boots now picked up on that.
Yeah, he had to know they were making a move to the mid lane, but I think with Wind Run plus TP, he'd feel pretty safe.
That's the thing about playing up against the Pugna, right? It's probably the hero that'll push down your tower the fastest, so you can't really afford leaving the lane. The second you do, you're gonna risk losing the tower, and we're 7 minutes in.
Top lane in the Necro Shadows, he's getting really good CS now. I mean, he's considering the way that the game started, he's now net on net with net. So
that's their next focus though. They're going to try and limit his farm, take over his jungle, and then keep control of that side of the map with Beastmaster and Spec to come in as necessary.
I mean, he has got, of course, his level 6 as well, the Necro, so if he gets some backup, might be able to do
Nah, you're out of there.
Some work, but yeah, he's gone.
They know that they're going to concede the tower, but it's way worse to give up your Necropost and concede the tower.
So Fnatic, we're going to look for the tier 1 push top. At the same time, Wings You see it edging elsewhere across the map, looking to put a bit of pressure onto bottom. Yeah.
If you look at bottom, Net is slowly burying himself into the woods and up behind Wings, so it looks as if they're gonna try and defend the tower on the bottom lane.
Yeah,
potentially.
they can't though. Like Pugna's not a hero that you can just TP in, right? You'll just get massacred. You need to set up with positioning.
If Pugna had TP'd on the second tower by now, they could have. It's too late now, I agree. Beastmaster could have TP'd in on the tier 1 if Pugna had already prepared himself and TP'd in on tier 2. That would have actually been a really good fight for them.
Oh, it's a TP. Indeed, as you said, Mount Net looking to stack this up, gets the dagger out and now into the Roar, straight on to Shadow. Wave of Terror, Axis flying through. Shadow getting taken down, and Fnatic managed to hold the tower very, very nicely there with the reaction on the bottom lane.
It's a really good read by Fnatic. Because Wings kind of half committed to the bottom tower, sending 3 heroes to the mid lane, 2 heroes to the bottom, and kind of exposing them.
Here's your Haunt for Net. We'll see what they try and go for. He's going to jump in, looking for the line, and he'll get it with the help of the blast. Ice, going to try for the TPS, going to make it. Oh, 25 HP. The Chen just getting himself back to base. But again, it's the Spectre. Every time that Haunt's available, getting himself in and getting himself a kill each and every time.
Super hard to fight under that Pugna ward though. Like Lion could barely get any spells off. He probably wanted to get Finger off before he died, but no chance.
Yeah, and then Wings will be playing this game from behind now. They've given up too much map control already. They're gonna lose the last tier 1 tower as well. And that's really hard up against a Beastmaster and Spectre lineup. You normally want it the other way around, where you can keep TPing to lanes and help out each other and make sure that the enemy isn't ganking. They're gonna be so very limited in how much they can actually farm now. Does get the deny.
Yeah, still goes. I was gonna say, he got it anyway, but then the Fortify came through. So there was actually an extra chance there for Fnatic to maybe even find that. Necrobook now going to be done on the Beastmaster.
Their lineup's not very well suited for this sort of position though. I think they need to regain some control of the Radiant jungle at this point, because like when you have a Wind Ranger and a Necrophos versus a Spectre, and then you have a Pugna to deal with, if you don't have BKBs, you have Enchantress who has a lot of farm, like you're not feeling comfortable at all heading into the mid game. So
Ferocia, I mean, I guess they can do it relatively quickly, but at least they've got a lot of tank here, so they're not going to be taking much damage themselves, but in comes the skeleton. Spooky, scary, spawning out, so Fnatic know what's up.
Yeah, they know they're in a very desperate position. The gold lead isn't that bad. It's only 2,000 for Fnatic, but given their heroes, Wings, I think, should have been much more ahead in this early game.
Oh, this line's deep, but he's looking at the moment, Fnatic. They don't have any vision up here on the high ground, but if Ohio comes around... Oh, yeah, hasn't got the Hawk out at the moment.
Oh wow, I thought the blast might have actually hit in essence.
He's just holding his breath here, the Lion. No, I think he's fine. He's got a TP as well, so I think as close as he is, Fnatic unlikely to just check in this spot. We'll see. Oh no, if he comes out though, now he's been spotted. Now he's going to try for the killer with the finger. Has he got enough damage? He's got the Hex out as well. One more, the Nature's Wrath will do it. Now he's looking for the TP out. He's going to make it as well. Innocence there with the plays, but is now Fnatic looking for a return kill, and they'll get it. Raw onto the Nature's Prophet. We'll end a 1-for-1 there. The mid laner there for the off laner.
Bit of miscommunication on Wings' end. Innocence doing the right play and TPing out, and then by the time Bjarne realizes that he didn't even need to help outside of the Nature's Wrath, he was already in too deep and couldn't TP.
Necro's making really good, or Fnatic's making really good progression on their Necro too. So this is really good because they need to keep pressure up on the Necrophos, make sure that he's always scared of Haunt, make sure that he's always scared of a Beastmaster about to roar him on his side of the map. But both teams working towards the mech, a little bit delayed with the Pugna death, and Ice is a little bit behind on his too.
It's unfortunate with this Rose attempt. Had the tables been turned, Fnatic could have actually continued taking down Rose, and then if Wings contested, then fought them, just simply because of the Nether Ward and then the Raw from Beastmaster. They just have the better teamfight control at present time. It's going to be a while before Wings can actually match them in 5-on-5 aggression. It's going to be a long while actually. Nature's Prophet and Necrophos just aren't suited for it yet.
And we'll see if anything kicking off towards the mid as Wings. That was 3 at the same time, Fnatic. Are you looking for anything at the moment? I mean, in terms of the drafts this game, Ben, do you feel that anyone's on a certain timer, really? I mean, are you looking at the Necro and saying, going late against the Spectre, incredibly risky? Yes, the Spectre's going to kind of out-DPS you, but at the same time, One good Necro
Yeah.
could win you the game.
I'd
still.
actually say it's slightly more risky for Fnatic because like Spectre's, I think one of his biggest late game strength is being able to like get an Aegis and then just die twice in fights and then third time just haunt and buy back, and then there's no way that you can deal with that except with a Necrophos Ags. So that's kind of a far-fetched scenario, but if it gets 40-45 minutes, you will see the Scepter. But at this point in the game, when you see supports buying Brazers, we see one on bench, we see one on line, it's that point in the game where everything's still really, really tight.
Yeah, I think if Wings had been in control, this would have actually looked dire for Fnatic. They definitely do not want to go.
Oh, that Shackle coming in just in time to interrupt the TP by Net. He'll launch himself out towards Shadow and daggers himself across. Nice play from Net there to get himself out of a 4-man gank looking for the Spectre kill at the top lane.
That's a really nice move by Wings, though. Like, if you see the Spectre on the map, you generally think, like, you don't sit behind a Spectre. He's one of the cores that you don't need to sit behind at all. You generally make an aggressive maneuver with the other 4. They were actually smoked, rotating around the Dire Ancients and waiting for Spectre to haunt in. But if you just go to the Spectre himself, unfortunately you need, 4 or 5 heroes there, or he'll just haunt out. He was actually pretty close to getting Reapered.
Yeah, he was very close. The problem with this is they can't really get any objective from this. The fact that Spectrality is down will just ensure them that they probably won't get ganked around the map, or at least not in a team fight perspective, but they can't get the middle tower, which is their next objective, right? The second they break down that tower, the map opens up for them and they can reliably gain more control. But again, going into the late game, Wings is going to be very confident with that. Shackle Shot on the Wind Ranger can take down targets so very fast. Nature's Prophet constantly pushing out side lanes. And then, of course, as we've talked about several times now, the Necrophos, the Reaper side for the late game.
But all the farm is really close. Like, the top 5 net worth is all within like 500 of each other at this point. So it's not like Spectre's getting ridiculously big. Everyone's just underfarmed in this game.
I mean, looking at how high at the moment, in terms of the build for the Beastmaster, it seems that we've seen a lot of games recently where Blink is kind of prioritized over finishing that book free. Is there any reason this game why we might see Fnatic go for the Blink earlier? Do they need that early catch on the Beast, or is it better to just improve the push and the DPS?
Blink's, I think, a little bit better because Chen can steal your Neko creeps, as well as there not really being any invisible threats to deal with at the moment. They already have pretty good ward coverage. A sentry mid will immediately deward this Obs.
Hens could take it right back though.
Yeah.
I think they will go for the book 3 rather than the Blink Dagger, just because they want to start pushing the tier 2 towers, and I think they can siege through the Nether ward. Like, they can force Wings to, first of all, be reactive.
Top line, well, I mean, Wings are trying to go in here. They're not going to connect this Shackler now. They need to be careful because Net haunting in will get stunned up, but the impetus flying through. Innocence getting low and will get taken down. Another kill here for the Spec. Then they try and get more of the swap for 3-4-3. Bring it back the Wind Ranger. There's your roar, and it's going to be a second one for Fnatic. Wings looking for the play there up top. It was only the 2 of them. And Fnatic, they see that opportunity to just jump straight back in on them.
And even then, it was on Avenged, right? Like, they're desperate to try and look for kills, and they were looking for the Spectre up top. Like, ideally, you want to kill a Spectre up there, and then like no one can get in as fast as the Spectre. But if you're ganking someone else, Spectre will be there instantly. Someone else is there in 3 seconds, and suddenly it's a 3-on-2.
Yeah, the risk reward just isn't worth it in that situation. Lion is great of getting that 1 kill and just immediately retracting, but in this situation, they were right next to a tier 2 tower, and as Ben rightly pointed out, it wasn't the Spectre that they went on.
I think they just need slightly more farm on the Wind Ranger, and then once she gets enough farm, they can actually do Roche pretty quickly with the Chen creeps and Focus Fire.
Would you go straight Axe now, or would you get a Blink on her? Because I think they also heavily rely on her getting the Shackle Shots off. Like, right now, their only control is the Lion.
Yeah, I think because Lion Blink is not a real possibility at this point. He's sitting at 200 gold. I think she does need it, unless they get the Roche.
She needs to serve as the initiator, right?
Depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for picks on spec, yes. If they're just looking for 5-on-5 siege with Necro for sustain and a Chen with his mech and his ult, then it's a little bit different.
Fnatic, they might try and do something here. You've got 4, now it's going to be 5. Deeping into the tier 2. They're going to jump in time. Wings getting it low, and they will be able to find themselves Roshan. Get themselves the Aegis. The question is Fnatic, do they want to try and fight this one? Pokemon Ward's been laid down on the right. Still 10 seconds now before the horn is up. Out comes the ult here, and they're going to get the Pugna. 70 seconds on the sidelines for that man. Now Fnatic trying to hit back, looking for Shadow. They'll punish 2. And they try and find themselves more out of this horn. It is up. Does Net want to try and use it to connect for more eyesight? Can they get it out in time? No, they didn't have the vision. It's going to be gone. So it's a 2-for-1. But Wings, they do manage to land that Reaper Scythe on the Pugner and knock him out for a good minute, 17 minutes in.
I know we just criticized the gank on the Vengeful Spirit on the left side of that, but it actually might have been like a long play from Wings, because they actually took down the Roche in between the haunt timing. So like let's say they do sacrifice one hero on the left side. They didn't want the Wind Ranger to die, but let's say they sacrifice Lion for a few TPs and a haunt, and then try and go for Roche.
Oh yeah.
Because the mid T1, I think it's
The objective trade is definitely worth it in that case, so good read by them.
I don't know if it was planned before the gank, but they definitely took advantage of the haunt being down at that point. That was a very tight window that they had to go for the Roche.
Yeah.
Higher, very close now to that, to having the money for that book-free Necro, so it's going to be good timing here for the Beastmaster. As you said, still Lion, a little bit poor in the department of working towards his Blink Dagger.
I question when Wings can actually start fighting them on even terms 5-on-5. It just seems as if Netherward and Beastmaster right now is way too much for them to actually handle.
They eliminated the Pugner really quickly in the teamfight, though. Mid one has to be very careful. He was like down in the river, he got shackled, and then him and his ward immediately died. I mean, they still did okay in the fight, but that's a lot of their damage at this point. I think they can take fights pretty soon. Like, Spectre is not out of control. He's not nowhere even close to that point.
Right now it all comes down to whether Chen and Necrophos can keep the lineup alive.
What build do you go for our Necro here?
For the Necrophos? He has a casual cloak. I mean, HP. I still think he needs to be...
Oh, there's a smoke maneuver towards...
Let's see what they can find it. Rhythm.
Oh, he went for the blink.
Looking towards the Wind Ranger, can they get the lead in? Out they come, there's the swap back into the Roar, not a chance for a Windrunner or anything, and the Aegis is gone. Question is, can they stick around for round 2? They drop the Pugner Ward, getting the Necro units in. It's going to get the Windrun out here, buying himself some time. Now comes the Horde, trying to move forward with the mix, pop by Wings. They're going to have quite a bit of sustain here. Chen's falling low, Innocent's trying to frontline. Fire shot will finish off the Pugner, but it's a 2-for-1 as DJ moving in. He's going to see if they can get more. There's DD at the moment on Wind Ranger, but the Necro coming out, it's not enough iron. He survives, the Necro does still go down, ultimately, but it's a 4-for-2. They're looking to make it a T1, but they will! Fnatic there, absolutely destroying Wings. Oh, and you can see with the golden XP from that one, pretty much the biggest fight we've seen so far this game, and absolutely huge stuff for Fnatic, and the kicker for Wings as well. They throw out the Reaper's ult, but it doesn't get that finishing touch onto the Beastmaster.
And again, a perfectly executed fight by Fnatic. Wings were not prepared. They're like, are they really going to make a move on the Wind Ranger in the mid lane? And at the end of the day, like they're forced to fight under Pugner Ward. They just swapped and roared, and then right after that, they like haunted in, and you're forced to fight under your T2 under the Pugner Ward, and that was just what they were looking for.
Yeah, and Innocence just dies off right away. He does commit his Finger of Death to kill off the Pugner, and normally that would be a great trade, but then basically everything you have is by then over. Nature's Prophet can't do anything against an Enchantress. It's probably one of the worst heroes, because he's a ranged hero, so he'll just keep on taking these Impetus hits from the Enchantress. He went down immediately, and he can't return the damage at all because of Untouchable. So Jan is just a void hero in these 5-on-5 engages.
Yeah, listen, it's second on the net worth there. Level with the Nature's Prophet, less than 1,000 away from having Ags on top of Phase Drums, Dragonlance, 21 minutes in. It's been a very, very good game for DJ top lane. Eyeing up Shadow, Spec is going to lead in, and Shadow, it's a wise move to try and TP out straight away, and he is just going to be able to get himself out of there. Now, Faith actually coming back in, just to be honest, seeing if he can get Nat. He's going to find him trapped up, but Nat himself, he's going to give them a bit of their own medicine, and he'll TP himself away from Wings.
I still think that Wind Ranger should have went for the blink over the Ags. It would have made that fight a lot better if they were able to like retreat to the T2 immediately after the Aegis with the blink, and they're also picking up blinks on the Necrophos as well as the Nature's Prophet. So they're looking to, just execute someone really quickly with the Reaper Scythe and then get out of the fight and then wait for Shackle or Hex or something to try and reset.
Yeah, I'd rather have seen it differently, so that the Wind Ranger went for the blink deck and then maybe the Necrophos went for the Axe, because I don't think he's tanky enough for him to justify blinking in just yet. Like
well, I think in a team fight, no, but I think what they're aiming for is a less sort of large-scale engagement.
Yeah, pickoffs and then Nature's Prophet tipping in.
Oh, and again, Necro out of position here. It's 3-4-3 and a higher. Come wrapping round. At mid-ward there for the side of Fnatic, where they took down that tier 2 of Wings, allowing them to find kills like this now. towards the mid. Now, has to be careful. There's a fair few members of Wings pushing in, and talking about pushing in. Same time, Fnatic on the bot lane. They're going right up to the high ground here. They do have a Horn available if they want to try and kick off a fight as well at this point. And
I don't think Wings can do anything about it. As long as Netherward is down, I think Fnatic can safely keep on pushing.
Our win rate nearly killing herself there to the Netherworld. Incredibly close. 89 HP.
They're just not respecting a lot of the points of the lineup, though. They were like waiting the TP back, but you're up against a Beastmaster and a Pugna. If you're not there, your tower's going to be dead. By the time they TP back, it was at like 25%.
It's unable to deal with this ward at the moment. I'll send in the ward will time out itself. As you can see already, just spamming the blast in. A bit of damage does these Rex. Fnatic, though, they're not going to stick around here.
Necrophos resurrects, and there's a full Aghanim's for the Enchantress lying in base, so they're not in rush. They know they have complete control of the game right now, and that Wings can't fight them in a 5-on-5.
And Radiance is almost up on that. The Courier did die, but did not contain his relic, so just
oh wow, he went for the straight Radiance as well. Yeah. This is looking really grim for Wings.
Yeah, and now like all the blinks are just going to be useless in team fights, so they're going to have a lot of sunken gold into items that aren't going to help them out that much.
And while everyone on Fnatic is playing this great, it really all stems from the control that Beastmaster also offers, right? There is zero vision for Wings. They actually have it so deep that these wards that they have on the Radiant side of things are almost irrelevant, because how often is Fnatic playing from a position where they're in their own jungle? They're playing on the Dire side of the map constantly. They keep ganking very deep right outside the Dire base. These wards don't really offer anything in comparison to what Fnatic gets out of the map, and especially through that Hawk vision as well.
And they finished up at Aether Lens on Pugna. Not the most expensive pickup, but still crucial and instrumental to their siege to the high ground. Because Pugna only has 900 HP at this point. Like maybe a defensive swap can save him, but he needs to make sure that he can blast a tower and not be in blink initiation range.
As long as they're not sieging base at this point in time, as long as he gets the Nether ward down, it doesn't really matter too much whether or not he dies afterwards.
Yeah, they still want to continue and like, you know, get buildings and get racks though. Like
yeah.
you want him alive. He's your siege engine.
Yeah, definitely. And sure, he's the mech carrier, but again, it's right now Spec and Enchantress and their damage output is ridiculous.
This Spectre, so it's certainly got out of hand, as you said, with this Radiance timing, 24 minutes in on top of the phase, he actually drums. It's going to be so hard for Wings to fight any time that the Horn is online, and level 16 as well. Duration is certainly going to be there. I mean, if Shadow can hit a huge Reaper's ult, you know, which is what they need essentially at this point. They need to do something to shut down the Spectre.
He's the roar target though, or the swap in.
Yeah, they just jump straight in, absolutely. Necro always getting disabled.
Jan close to being caught out. Tough blink.
Courier.
Yeah, the analysts were like, you know, are they really sure they want to pick Chen into the enchant? And you know, this is one of the reasons why your early game is already limited, which is one of Chen's strengths, and then like late game, the Enchantress is just so much more useful.
Oh, and here we go with the Horn. They found Blink here, hiding in the sidelines net. He'll jump himself straight over, look at the TP, and oh no, the swap's there! Just in time. 3-4-3 holding the Wind Ranger back, and that is going to be 50 seconds for this man on the sidelines. We'll see how much the side of Fnatic can achieve during this time.
And you see the immediate response is just Bjarne tipping to the top lane, knowing that all of Fnatic was just seen on the bottom lane. There's no tower for them to TP in on, and there's no Spectral. So right now they just want to try and control the map by pushing out at least 2 waves, buying themselves time essentially, because they do still have a shot at the late game. They just can't fight Fnatic at all right now. And if Fnatic assembles and pushes base, which it looks to be right now, actually Spec is going back.
And Nature's Prop is really strong though. He has a Mjolnir, so...
Yeah, but he can't fight anyone. Like, he can only do pickoffs. In a straight 5-on-5, both Beastmaster and Enchantress and Spec for that matter is just gotta run into him and kill him basically.
Well, this is about as good as it's gonna get. Spectre without Haunt for 60 seconds, looking for 45 outside their base with a Wind Ranger respawn. But yeah. Fnatic likely not giving them that opportunity.
Absolutely, just playing it safe as you said. Holding on for that Roshamp.
And call me old-fashioned, Ben briefly mentioned this. I think picking Chen into an Enchantress is...
They want to make a statement, Jacob.
It's...
We're not scared.
How do I put this mildly? I think it's stupid. That's how mildly I can put it. But especially because they pick it on their first pick. I don't think there was any rush of picking it. I think they could have sat back, probably waited a bit. Maybe they just didn't have a better answer.
Oh, still 30 seconds left on Haunt. Wings, again, trying to capitalize on that tiny... timing, or Haunt isn't up.
Or maybe with this wraparound they can try and Try and catch them off. Innocence leading across the mid lane here, but Fnatic hiding in the trees, never walks down. Now the ping's coming out. DJ with the impetus. Oh, the damage! Monster kill streak for the man, and now the swap back onto the Chen. Being blocked up by Ohio, being sucked off by mid-one, and impetus damage from DJ. Now godlike on his Enchantress. I mean, this man, he's had an absolutely fantastic game on Ench. I mean, even to the point where, I mean, if you're Wings, do you let Fnatic have the Enchantress again this series?
I have better solutions than this, I would say, in the early game at least. But I mean, I was more impressed by how they dealt with that smoke maneuver. They're like, okay, 20 seconds left on Haunt, they're probably going to do something, and then they were all in the trees with vision at every angle that Wings could have approached from. And on top of that, they were close to the T2, where Spectre was on the T2 on the left side. So even if they do take a fight, he doesn't have Haunt, but he can still be there in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, Fnatic is just playing this great on all accounts. They are methodical. They wait, they're patient, they do everything right, they don't give Wings any openings. Now they take down Roshan, and this is probably gonna spell... The thing is, they still have these lanes constantly pushing in part because of Nature's Prophet. So they want to have at least 2 of them pushed out sufficiently for them to actually just go down through either the bottom lane where the tower is already gone, or up through mid.
And now who do you Reaper? Is it worth Reaping the Spectre or the Ench? Like, they definitely want the streak, though. He's beyond godlike. He's like, you know, pretty 1,500 gold for them.
We're going to try and lead in onto Net. It's a nice shackle to set this one up. Faith joining in as well, but Net, he does have the horn. They're going to get himself up, but the Reaper's on point! And that is 100 seconds for this spec out of the game, and they are the plays that Wings needs to keep themselves in that one. I mean, it's just so game-changing. That one ult, absolutely disgusting. Poor old spec.
That is a long time. It's actually...
He might be back for game 2.
It's definitely great for buying time if there's no buyback on the spec. He's 300 short of it, and even then he wouldn't commit it, just because there's probably no risk of Wings pushing into the base. There's a blink deck up on the Vengeful Spirit now, so a lot of catchability. Gotta be careful now, though. They see him.
Oh! Jumping past them here, but as you said, I mean, Wings, they're gonna look to try and get as much as they can do during this window. 60 seconds. I mean, as you said, maybe they, maybe still a little bit apprehensive whether the spec does have the buyback available. You know, it wasn't.
He used Haunt though.
Yeah.
He used Haunt before he died, so this is why Wings are just like not that scared. Still a sufficient time to back off.
Oh. Nice swap onto Faith for us. Robin will get forced off these impetus damage so much from DJ. Magic Missile coming through. Oh, he gets sent back there. The save from Chen. Beautifully done. Very nice play from Wings. As Fnatic try to just unload themselves onto the Nature's Prophet, but the saves are there.
Yeah, I was about to say they had to be careful about overcommitting, because Lion wasn't a part of that fight. He was farming out the bottom lane, very close to that blink dagger. Might sell his mango for it.
I mean, at the moment, the Lion, yeah, he's going to pick it up now. So with that, in respect that, or they're going to have that extra catch out to allow himself to jump in, especially get the burst out alongside the Reaper's Scythe. We could certainly be seeing some more big ults coming out from Shadow this game.
They don't actually have one of the best counters to the Reaper Scythe, which is the Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, no one's building it. No.
Yeah, I was thinking the Vengeful Spirit would have gone for it, but they're gonna go for the all-out aggression and have that blink tag up on her for the catch and the swap.
Yeah, but that fight set them back like a good 4 minutes, I would say. So like I think. I mean, maybe in a larger scale team fight, they
definitely 2 minutes. I don't know about 4. That seems a bit.
I mean, they lost. They had to push out all their lanes. Like, there's no roach to take care of. They were able to set down wards on the side of Fnatic's map, even though they were dewarded shortly thereafter by the Necro.
Wings. Oh, this is nice as well, Fnatic. They might get a false sense of security as they've sent the Hawk out, but of course the smoke's there. Now, High Size, he's going to grab it for themselves. Wings. They're going to be able to get the jump in, coming in, jump forward. The Shackle not going to latch though. But they can't find anyone who's going to beat it. In fact, Fnatic, they're going to horn up, they're going to try and fight back into this one net. He's actually going into the middle of the post. The Mantis down, the mech's been popped by Wings, but Shadow rolled up and he's taken down. No Reaper side for this fight. The swap back onto Faith, being beat down upon by DJ. They'll find themselves a third or fourth, and Net looking for the 2-1 Magic Missile. They'll do it again. Fnatic wiping Wings. And now with a push onto the bottom, they'll get themselves at least one set of racks here, of course. With the Beast, with the Venge, with the Necros, they've got a hell of a lot of pushing power. Wings, I mean, are they even going to be back up for one more fight? They've still got a tier 2 on the top lane, so Fnatic won't be able to get Megas, but they may be able to just get the game. Strength and tier 5, and GG's gone! It's all too much. And Wings, We see them get one big Necro, but they needed a few more really to kind of bring themselves back into this game as Fnatic. I mean, Net and DJ, of course, just having such a performance at the start, and it was never stopped.
Yeah, definitely a very dominant team to watch. They're a pleasure to watch as well because they play so aggressively and they know what to do. They play Dota on a very high level. A bit unfortunate for Wings in this last fight. Shadow just completed his BKB, so he didn't have the buyback and he didn't use the BKB. Essentially a dead item throughout the game.